Right guys, welcome back to the channel and to the next episode of Your Armies on Parade. And today I have a fantastic converted Necron army from Mr. Robert Dunn. Welcome to the channel, Rob.
Thanks, Harry. How are you?
I'm brilliant and even more ecstatic for seeing these fantastic conversions, as I'm sure especially anybody who's seen them in person will agree.
Excellent. Well, thanks for inviting me to your channel. It's an honour to be here.
Not a problem. Quickly though, a massive shout out. You run a commission service called the Dutch Devastator.
Yes, that is true. Yep, I have recently started doing commissions for anybody that wants any of their stuff painting, converting, base creations, anything like that. Yeah, hit me up. I'm on Facebook, so look for Dutch Devastator and you'll find me. And I'm quite reasonable, and I talk your way through the process on what I'm doing and keep you updated as much as I can. I've got my slots booked up until end of November, so if anybody's looking for anything for the new year, give me a shout.
And of course, he's a top guy to talk to as well.
Thank you. As are you.
You were one of my favourite people to speak to when I went to the Northwest Open last year, and of course that's where we met. And you certainly brightened up the already incredibly bright weekend.
Oh, excellent! Thank you very much, mate. Nothing better than making new friends at any event and talking hobby and having a good time.
I'm trying to keep this clean, but I seem to remember you telling me that you had a lot of blowjobs.
The drink version of them, yes. Yeah, I did indeed.
So,
which can also be seen on one of your videos from some years ago, I think.
Yep. So, tell us about yourself, Rob. How long have you been into 40k? How long have you been painting and building models? Where do you game? What do you get up to within the hobby?
Okay. Well, my name's Rob. Originally from the Netherlands, hence the reason Dutch Devastator. I moved to the Isle of Man in 1999, but my passion for the hobby began when I was 11 years old, and my uncle introduced me to Hero Quest.
Yes.
That was the entry point for me to having never got any spare money ever in my life. Everything was spent from that point on the hobby, leading into Advanced Hero Quest, and then my uncle introduced me to Blood Bowl after that, and then I went one holiday. I went over to the UK to see my nan, and we went into town and came across a Games Workshop, and they just released second edition. This is about 93, and from that point onwards, it was 40k Warhammer non-stop, everything. So so gamed a lot in the Netherlands, moved over to the Isle of Man, realised I didn't really have a gaming scene over here.
Right.
So I set up a gaming community over here, and the group is called the Chain of Command Gaming Group on the Isle of Man.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, and that's still going strong. We have about island-based about 100 people that are actually in not regular attendance, but in attendance whenever they can, usually on a weekly basis. On a Monday night, we gather in the church hall nearby, and we have about 25 to 30 people that turn up and play all kinds of board games. Reason why I call it a gaming club is because not everybody's just into tabletop, so we have stuff like from Star Wars Armada, we have X-Wing, tabletop board games. Recently, Kill Team and Titanicus have taken over a little bit. Age of Sigmar's coming back in. 40k is always a hot topic in the club. So yeah, we don't discriminate against any gaming. It's like it's a community. Everybody gets on and everybody comes to have a good time. So that's usually where I game.
Fantastic.
And that's a bit about myself and my gaming and my history. But yeah, I love the hobby ever since. Never going to stop, I don't think.
Excellent. So the burning question, Rob. Obviously, we're showing pictures of your Necrons here.
Yeah.
What drew you to Necrons? Why Necrons?
Ooh. Well, the thing was, it was like everybody collects multiple armies. My one of my first armies was Space Marines, and when I was gaming at the club, it was always like the same armies got played and played and played, and I was like, oh, it's took a shine to the Necrons, like back in the day when The destroyers looked like they were sat on like little speeder bikes,
which really should be Tomb Blades.
Which really should have been Tomb Blades as a converted, like sitting on a bike kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like just having the original, the metal one that you got free with one of the White Dwarfs, and I painted him up, and it was like, oh, I fell in love with it straight away, but never really got round to like starting a Necron army.
Mm-hmm.
So. And then realised that nobody at the club was playing a Necron army. And I thought, well, let's give them some diversity into playing against a different army. So, as with everybody, I collected a different second to third army. And and ever since then, I think that was about 2005, 2006, I've been playing Necrons regularly. So, approximately for about 12 years now. So, I've loved them ever since. And they get very little love in the community sometimes, but they are the metal men without hearts.
Now, one thing I do like about your colour scheme, it's hard to see on the pictures. Is it cream or white? I think it's more creamy, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It's very bleach bone, Ushati bone kind of colour to go with a bit of the dynasty history that I created for them.
Right. Well, that was going to be my next question: is what is the symbolization of the red stripes, and what does this mean for your dynasty?
Okay, so the dynasty is the Arachnithilid dynasty, which is one of the it's one of my own creations. So I went through the history of it all, read a lot of the tidbits about Necrons and everything, created like a little bit of a backstory for it. It's one of the overlords that challenged the Silent King, and this overlord had a particularly large like flying fleet. So he had a lot of night-sized doom sights, anything that was actually levitating. And then the Night Lord didn't like the fact that he was being challenged. Oh, like sort of Silent King wasn't very happy that he was being challenged, so he took away the anti-gravity of them, hence the reason why they're all bug-based. So he took away their powers for anti-gravity and put them on a desolate tomb world to fit in and to make sure that they couldn't be seen because the tombs were all rotten and everything. It was all sand-based, so they changed their colour scheme from just pure red to sand-based so that they could actually ambush their attackers or anybody that came to the planet for any minerals that they might be looking for. The red stripe is to symbolise where they actually came from. So that's kind of a bit the history of them and the reason why they're bug-based as well. So gave it a bit of a theme rather than just throwing a few paints on a few models, so which I like to do.
Excellent, excellent. The next question is kind of two questions. I was going to ask, what is your favourite Necron model? But obviously with your conversions, I'm going to double that up. What is your favourite stock Necron model? And what is your favourite conversion that you've done?
Oh, okay. So my favourite stock model has got to be the Ghost Ark.
Yes.
It's just something that really drew me, and it was like I like the fact that it was like front loading, and it looked a bit like from Terminator 2 on how like they were carried and everything. But I thought I want to change this up a bit into a crawler, so I got a Triage Stalker, and basically like turned the front bit from the Ghost Ark onto the back, so it looks more like the back part of a bug, like the shell and like the rump and everything like that, and put the legs underneath the bit that sits at the back of the Ghost Ark. So basically the engine that pushes it forward with the Lord on top of it. Like put the legs underneath it and just put a face on the front of it of like kind of a bug. And yeah, that is definitely what was one of my favorite conversions, and it still is. I was so proud once I put it together and I looked at it and it was like, just turns out better than what you think it's going to look like when you've got it in your mind. And
it is absolutely stunning. I remember I hadn't even spoke to you at this point. I remember walking past the table that you were having a practice game on, and I saw it and I was just like, mate, that is amazing. And correct us if I'm wrong, but didn't you win best model?
I won best converted model for the model, yeah.
Yeah.
And my army got nominated for best painted as well, so which I was quite happy about.
And it is absolutely phenomenal. Like you said, it looks very much like the bug. If you imagine like Alariel's beetle with the kind of, the tail lamp in the air. And
exactly.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. And you know what? It really works, Rob. It's an excellent theme that I think you've got.
Excellent, thank you.
The next question that I have for you is obviously when you are playing with your Necrons. At the minute, Necrons aren't that hot in the whole competitive scene or anything. I think they are possibly a little bit overcosted, but we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah.
when you fight against other armies, what armies do you see as your weakness, or what when you turn up to a tournament and your opponent puts their army down in front of you, what army makes you go, oh no, why?
The armies that have like nothing but invulnerable saves, so you got to be talking demons, because the one thing we lack is the output of mortal wounds, which seems to be a lot of armies that can just go like, I don't care about your armor, and just go straight through you, and it seems to be like pretty much a hot topic at the moment. On top of that, I'm just trying to get to grips on dealing with Titans and Knights and everything like that, because that's quite heavy on the scene at the moment as well. It's a bit of a flavour at the moment.
It is. I think beyond Destroyers, like even weight of dice for Necrons, even with a small amount of AP, is still not enough. Like even Destroyers, the Knights are just going, oh, I've got full bin run.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like you can't keep, like, if you just plow your destroyers into them. But then again, to take down one knight, you've got to have a unit of what, maybe 5, 6 destroyers, maybe 2 heavy destroyers alongside them, or 3 heavy destroyers in a separate unit to go alongside them.
As well as using the destroy protocol stratagem to reroll hits and wounds, it's still going to be a task and a half to get rid of a knight.
Keep your Destroyer Lord close by, and then an Overlord as well to cast My Will Be Done and everything like that. And like to just get down to like rerolls like on 2s with rerolls from the Destroyer Lord and like their own inbuilt hatred. But sometimes it's like, how many times is this person going to roll 4+ on these dice, because it's still 50% of the dice is going to be a 4, 5, or a 6.
Yeah.
So, and there's no way to diminish the invulnerable save other than with mortal wounds, because it just bypasses everything. And just Tzeentch demon armies are a bit of a bane for me. So it's like, I will just cast Smite without a negative every time I can cast Smite. Even baby Smite is just a pain. But no, I don't mind. I usually, when I go to a tournament, I don't play the army across from me. I play my opponent. I always don't think of like how I'm going to strike. I'm always thinking of like the counter strike on what he's going to do. So try to preempt on his tactics of what he's going to do, and just like build my tactics around it with just the usual solid tactics of just stand and shoot and shroud out of there once they get too close, and just get out of there with your Destroyer Lord and his destroyers. So, but no, those are the 2 armies at the moment that I'm struggling with a little bit, but I still have fun with the games. I still enjoy playing people, so it's not so much that it's a burden. It's just, like you say, it's a bit of a step. It's a bit of an Achilles heel. Yeah.
So, when you are hobbying, when you're painting, when you're converting, what are you listening to or watching?
Oh, okay. So, like, I have 2 separate methods. So when I am converting and putting models together and building and everything like that, I like to put something on in the background that I can watch. At the moment, I'm re-watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine because it's funny and it's nothing better than having a laugh while you're gluing your fingers to your face. So, but and then when I get into painting, it's like you haven't got time to look up from the model because you're concentrating so much on like getting the detail right and everything. I like to listen to the Horus Heresy books.
Yes.
So like to that, or any other 40k Age of Sigmar old books that you can like just listen to. I mean, there's copious amounts of books out there that are free as well that you can just have a quick listen to. YouTube is full of them, so I always recommend people to just have a look out there and say, just type in audiobooks and just type in Warhammer and off you go.
Yeah, I'm not a big reader. I struggle to absorb what I read. It's probably why I'm an accountant. But I listened to the Dante audiobook, obviously being a big Blood Angel fan, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it while I was painting. So, yeah definitely give the audiobooks a listen. They're definitely worth it.
Oh, it definitely is. Like, I mean, Horus Heresy in audio is just phenomenal. They get some great speakers in for them. So, and some of the writers are just amazing. So,
yeah, definitely. So, obviously, looking at your army, Rob, you're quite a big converter and painter. Would you consider yourself more a painter and converter, a gamer, or a collector primarily?
Depends on who you ask, really. It's like I myself, I consider myself a converter and a painter. Like at the club, all I do is game, liquor with my friends, a game. My wife just thinks I'm collecting. Doing nothing with it, just copious amounts of plastic everywhere. It's just, what's this for now?
I bet you still don't have as much as me, though.
I've seen your collections, I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. That's quite a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's like, I'm bordering now on 6 40k armies and about 3 with my 4th one on its way for Age of Sigmar, and then I've got some Kings of War armies as well. So yeah, and then all the other kind of games. So, but yeah, I've seen your collections. I'm like, yeah.
Fair enough. Going back to what you said about when you were when you play your opponent, I was going to ask what kind of a gamer are you, but it was more along tactics. So it was, are you close and personal? Do you prefer mobile? Are you a castle? But from what you said, it sounds like you're quite a reactive player. Yeah,
I am. I usually have like a battle plan in my head, and like with any game that you play, is like your things change. So you just have to be. You think on your feet. Always have it's like chess. You have to have the next 5 to 10 steps ready in your head, just counteracting what the opponent's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it sometimes it just depends on the opponent you're playing and the army that you're playing. I play a lot of shooty armies. I play Tau as well. So, and I played the last tournament that I went to was the LCO. I think it was the LCO. No, it was the Northwest Open, and I took. No, it was the Last Chance Open actually. Started this year, and I took a Nurgle army with Mortarion and 7 Demon Princes. So they were just like flying across the board and like smashing face, and like that's something dreadful. I thought like, oh, that would be pretty cool to do, and just ran them across the board, and like the amount of people that just couldn't cope with it was just insane. It was just such good fun.
And of course, the Rule of 3 then came out.
Yeah.
But you could technically get around that by taking 3 Death Guard Demon Princes and 3 Nurgle Demon Princes.
Yeah, but like a lot of tournaments like stamp that out, don't they? They go like, no, it says Rule of 3 across the board.
Yeah.
So it's like, so this year I'm going to, in January I'm going to the next LCO in Southport. So, and I am taking the army that I hate, one of the armies I hate the most. I am taking Tzeentch.
Oh.
Tzeentch Demons.
Very interesting. So, I presume, obviously, as you work on that, you'll be posting pictures up on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, I'll be posting pictures over to you for like League of Artisans as usual. So, just got to get this next commission out the door, which is like well and truly underway. So I'll share that with you as well. But yeah, pictures will be posted of my force going forward for my Tzeentch Demons.
Excellent. With your Necrons, when you are playing the game, what is your favourite aspect of the Codex? What is your favourite combo of units, or your favourite stratagem? Like, what is a kind of move that you like pulling with your army?
I like to create the Cryptek, Overlord, Destroyer Lord, and Destroyer's bubble. And then just like putting a ton of scarabs in front of them, just like to create a little meat shield.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, the Cryptek is giving you the 5+ invuln plus the +1 to the reanimation.
The one?
The Lord is giving you the reroll ones to wound with infantry, but how do you say Overlord?
Yeah.
So that was for My Will Be Done, or the stratagem to use it twice on 2
Yep.
units. And then the Destroyer Lord is to reroll the hits of a 1, I believe.
Yep.
And then the Destroyers have hardwired hatred anyway, which is reroll wounds of a 1.
Exactly.
And if that's not enough, the Destroyers count as infantry, so stick them in cover.
Yep. Yep, just the towing cover and off you go.
Excellent, excellent. And it is brutal. It is expensive, and I agree it is something that I like to do as well. I tend to go slightly different to you. I go an Overlord and a Lord, and have Warriors and Immortals around them.
Okay.
But, you know, very, very similar. The Destroyers are a very good shout. They're a very good unit for the Necrons.
Oh, definitely.
I would say probably one of the more competitive units.
Oh, they're like, if not by stretch there, for the price that they are probably like the best priced units in the Codex for the damage output and what they've got.
Definitely.
Especially with like heavy weapons, but they've got the repulsor platform, so they don't actually, like get the sting from moving with a heavy weapon and getting the minuses to hit.
Yeah.
So that's quite good. So yeah, and they move pretty fast. They're pretty agile. They get around the board, and if I usually throw the Shroud on the Destroyer Lord, and then if anybody gets too close, they just get beamed across the table, so they can take doing pop shots at you. Also great for stealing the objective off people.
Yeah.
Charge the Destroyer Lord in with his scythe and just kick people in the puppies.
Speaking of the Destroyer Lord doing that, do any of your leaders or units have any sort of victories or epic moments that they've achieved as you're playing through your games?
Yeah, I'm a Destroyer Lord at the local tournament here, Warzone Man, which doing a little thing for us. Like I'm part of like the mate that my mate runs it through the club, and he's doing another one next year, and he's going a bit bigger. So if anybody wants ever to come over to the Isle of Man next year, we're having a tournament. Pop over, it'll be great fun. But during the last one, Warzone Man, my Destroyer Lord got a brass scorpion down to 2 wounds in close combat.
By himself?
By himself, took 3 rounds of combat to kill my Destroyer Lord from the brass scorpion. So I was quite proud of that, and just like took it down to 2 wounds, and yeah, that was his moment in the sun.
That is very, very impressive. Especially if I know Rob's watched 1 or 2 of them. The Clash of Titans videos that we're doing at the minute, with the cheesy Gladiator theme tune.
Great theme tune.
The Brass Scorpion one hasn't been released yet, but it will be coming up very, very soon, and you'll have to stay tuned to see how far through the tournament he actually makes it.
The thing is a beast.
I'm
not going to lie, it's insane.
It is, especially with I think you can use Demon Forge on it, so you're re-rolling hits and wounds, which is just horrendous.
Yeah. And in combat, it's a bit of a nasty one as well. So, but no, it was great. It was like my moment in the sun with it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good laugh.
Excellent. So, with the rest of your units that I'm looking at here, obviously a lot of them are very bug focused, like you said. I in particular like your Doom Scythe.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah,
because it looks like a giant moth.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a cross between a bit of a moth and a hornet. So the hornet stings at the bottom. So, yep.
Very, very cool. The wraiths, the upside down wraiths, again scuttling across the desert.
Yep, I can't claim the conversion know-how for that. I saw them and I was like, oh, that looks immense. So I tried my hand at it. And that was where my army was based around. So those were the first ones I did, and then I came around it. So yeah, that wasn't my conversion idea. That was somebody else's. So I don't know who it was, but can't take credit for it. But I did enjoy making them in that fashion.
Excellent. The Immortals, the snake Immortals that you've got with the little tiny kind of arms, like really, really cool idea with the whole snake tentacle, like snake, the almost like smaller wraiths but with Tesla. Yeah, so cool.
They were meant to be bursting out of the ground, like trying to like sneak up on people. and like getting the best of them, like the Immortals, and they were like a bit. I play Magic the Gathering, and they were kind of like converted to be based on Slithers, which is one of the races in Magic the Gathering. So yeah, that's why they've got the little arms on the sides as well. So yeah, no, I really had a good time building them as well.
Your heavy destroyers, correct us if I'm wrong, they look very inspired by the old metal Necron Knot Deck spiders. Is it a destroyer, but you've basically done the jets as legs?
Yes. So I've taken the body of the destroyer. I've cut off the little dude that sits on top and put the gun in its place, and created one of the little prows. So the prows that you get on like the Doomsday Ark and all those kind of vehicles, and use them as bug heads. So they've got like the stag beetle nose heads, and then used old spider legs, and they were hard to come by at times. So it was like scouring eBay and all kinds of other websites to see where they were. So got my hands on all of them that I needed for the units that I created. So yeah, they're a mixture of a couple of bits and pieces. So, but again, bug based.
Yeah. The Annihilation barges look very much like the horned beetles. I'm forgetting what they're called.
Stag beetles.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. And I love, right, when you look closer at them, you can see the side of kind of the Annihilation, the Doomsday Ark, actually. And you've kind of put them flat facing forward. You've got the jump pack bit off the Praetorians and everything. And it's amazing that you've managed to kind of, I don't want to say smash the bits together, but completely rearrange them.
Yep. So yeah, the one thing I look at with a kit is why does it have to follow the instructions? Why can't it make it look cooler? Turn it around a little bit, add my imagination to it, and like half the time it's just like, it's not so much of like doing the conversion. It's sometimes people, you pay a lot of money for some of these models, and you've got to be, sometimes it's the confidence and the nerve to do something like that without ruining it. But I'd say to everybody as well, give it a chance. If you want to convert something, don't worry about it if somebody thinks it's not that cool. People have said my Necrons don't look that cool. For me, they're a work of labor. I love them, and like the fact that people have said like they look amazing, and some people have said, oh, they're not a fan of them, is never put me off on doing any other conversions. I keep going with the army. I keep putting to it. But yeah, just never be scared to do a conversion is what I'd say as a bit of advice for it. It's like, yeah, models cost a lot of money, but if you make something look unique, then you are going to be remembered for the uniqueness of that individual model. So always go for it, I say.
And I would completely agree, Rob. I mean, we were talking before we were recording here. My Harlequins, for example, a lot of people said, I don't understand the gambling theme, because obviously poker chips, cards, dice. But realistically, how many Harlequins do you now see with dice? A lot of people say, I don't get it, it looks crap, or it doesn't fit the theme. It's just like, okay, but I like it. And
exactly.
I've seen that I've inspired people to do that. And if you can inspire somebody with your creations to not copy, but be inspired to do their own version of it,
yeah,
you know, for you to then look at that and think, wow, I've inspired somebody, it's a great feeling.
Definitely, I totally agree. It's it's a hobby, it's a community, it's a living and breathing thing, and it's like people take ideas from each other. There's so many conversion videos out there. There's so many painting videos out there. It's like people are trying to like help everybody around them to like make it a better community, better gaming environment, better experience of the actual games itself. So yeah, never be scared to try something new, especially with painting and converting. I never do. Every time I pick up a brush, I add to my skills. Even if I do it wrong, just remember that perfection is built upon a lot of mistakes. So just keep at it.
Definitely. So before you go though, Rob, I do have one more question.
Okay.
If money was no question,
yep,
you could walk into Games Workshop or Forge World and walk out with whatever you wanted. what crazy idea of an army would you come out with?
Okay. This is something that I was going to do for something for next year, which is yeah, wow. I'm not sure if I should actually tell you because it was going to be like one of the surprises that I was going to bring out, but I'll share it with you anyway. It's Dinosaur Tau.
Yes, amazing.
So that's going to be something to watch out for next year. So I'm not going to give too much away, but yeah,
that would be fantastic. A lot of people do like Exodite Eldar, for example, but that's a very common thing because Exodites are they're mentioned a lot.
Yeah, they have a history. They have something that is actually written in books. They're mentioned in rule books. They're mentioned in codexes. So yeah, they have an actual origin. What I'm trying to do with these towers, like I've been like thinking of a bit of a theme and a story background to them, and looking at the models and what models I need to convert. So it's going to be another one where I don't tell the wife how much I've spent to pick it up. But yes, it's going to be a labour of love. So watch this space.
Definitely, and just a little bit of a heads up for you guys as well, and this might inspire you, Rob. Stephen Dunn, who obviously shares your surname, but is no relation.
Nope.
Is
good name though.
Very good name. Is actually putting together an entire Kroot army, which will be getting featured when it finishes. But please tell me that you are going to try and get hold of a greater Narlock or some Narlocks to include in that army.
I will be indeed.
Excellent,
yes.
Excellent.
Need some beasts of burdens.
Excellent, fantastic stuff. Well, listen, Rob, thank you very, very much for joining me. It's been
Thanks,
an absolute pleasure, as always.
Excellent.
Your Necrons are phenomenal, and I really hope that they've inspired somebody else to go out there, take the plunge, and do some awesome conversions.
Yep. And even if they just want to send me a message through like Dutch Devastator and ask me how I've made them, it's like I've got some pictures, or if they want some advice on converting, or just want to share and spitball an idea, by all means send me a message, and I'm more than happy to help you with your creations or give you some advice in whichever way you want it.
Excellent. Well, once again, thank you very much, Rob, and thank you guys for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please check out the rest of the channel, of course, and stay tuned for more Your Armies on Parade.